When I first started working with resin, my studio was absolute chaos. And I can't work like that anymore. I need to make sure I know where everything is. And I need to make sure that what I'm doing is safe. Because I'm sure when I first started, I made a few dangerous mistakes. And I certainly know I've made a few dangerous mistakes over the years as well. See, he's having a good look at my studio. I eat far too much ice cream, look. And what it made me realise doing this is over the last few years, I've discovered 10 things I just can't work without and live without. And they've completely transformed the way that I work. And I did say I would give everybody a tour of my studio. So they're my long neck lighters. That's where I keep them because I like to have them close at hand. My hand wash, my big wipe spray, all my little bits that I might use in my resin, all my resins here. Different resins, different inserts. My resin crete I always keep in that box up there. Here's a few things that I've made. My pour pressure pot that isn't working at the moment. My massive leveling table because I think that is so useful. My curing boxes, my little set of drawers. And this is where I keep all my moulds in there, in those drawers. And there, and some there as well. And as well, all under here as well, look, they're all moulds as well. So I do keep them everywhere. So without too much more ado, let's get on and I can show you which are my tools that I absolutely cannot live without. Well, the first thing I think is vital for me, and I didn't do it when I first started, was working on a large silicone mat. Now, I have two silicone mats, as you can see. I've got this one. Well, actually, I've got three. I've got this one. I have one underneath it. And then I have this really large one on the top. I clean these up all the time. I use the big wipe spray on them and clean them up. I use wipes on them to clean them up. So I use these big wipes or baby wipes on them. Big wipes do clean up resin a lot better. And I keep my surface one clean, and then I give my other ones a clean every now and again as well. And it makes so much difference. You're not going to mess up the work surface that you're using. And also, if you do make a mistake, you can clean it up much easier. So having a large silicone mat is vital. When I first started, I worked on this table and I didn't use a silicone mat and it kept getting lumpier and lumpier. And then before I moved studios, I had to sand it all down, clean it all off and go over to using silicone mats. Oh, made massive difference. Now, the next thing is definitely a leveling table. Now, I already showed you it in my introduction. It is a large one. So this is how big it is. And these are readily available. Everything I talk about today, I'll link in the description below. But this makes a massive difference, especially if you have got somewhere where you're working that's not level, you're making coasters and things or jewelry and it's slightly off, then you don't get the right thickness. I have this set up where I showed you it right at the beginning and I have it there all the time, so I never really need to check out how level it is. Although this here is quite level, which is great news. Now, if you haven't got room for a really large one, then you can have these smaller ones as well. And I've got two of those because it makes such a massive difference being able to make sure that everything that you're using is level. And these smaller ones come in at 40 centimeters by 30 centimeters, which is 15.5 inches by nearly 12 inches. So they're a great size as well, but having the larger one is really the equivalent of having two of those put next to each other. I would not be without them. Virtually everything I cure is put on these before I leave it to cure up. This next one is the air purifier. Again, I showed you this prior to this video in here. I have this set up all the time. The very first thing I do when I walk in my room is to turn this on, put it on auto. So I turn it on, put it on auto, and then have it near me. As you can see, the air in here at the moment is really, really clear. It's not red at all. The light's not making any noise, so the air in here has no extra VOCs. And I can tell you that there is Not sure if that's showing up on the camera. Yeah, there we go. 0.52 VOCs. The humidity level in here is 55%. The temperature is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. My filter, and it's still the very first filter I use, is 3/4 full. The fan's on low and I haven't got it on timer. When I want to put it on timer, I do, before I leave the room, I put it on normally for 2 to 3 hours and then it will turn itself off. Now, it's not in replacement of a mask. Don't ever feel it is, because a mask is vitally important, because a mask will protect you from any fumes that are in the room, and this will clear those fumes over time, fairly quickly actually, from your room. And let's be honest, no one wants to be breathing in VOCs. It also means that when I open my door, the air that's going out into the corridor is a lot cleaner, and I know that it's not going to be dispersing throughout my house. So it makes a massive difference. I would not be without that. And the next one is good quality measuring jugs. I cannot believe how many measuring jugs out there that you can buy that are cheap. When you actually test out the measurements, they are so out. And then you wonder why you've got loads of part A left or loads of part B left. It's because the measurements on here are completely out. I always double check mine when I buy them to make sure they're good. And if they're not good, then I'll just send them back. And these are the ones that I've found are the best. The Resiners mixing cups, they are very, very accurate as well. And these silicone jugs that I've got here, they're all very accurate too. And to be honest, that saves you a lot of time and a lot of waste. Similar to what I'm going to show you in number 7. And I think that one is the tool that probably saves me the most time and gives me some really great results. So make sure you've got good quality measuring jugs. And I have, as you saw at the beginning, I have lots of measuring jugs and I've always got them available. And they're always clean. And the reason is I use this big white power spray. You can get this everywhere. I've always got some on the go in both my studios. It is brilliant. This is not sponsored in any way by them. And believe me, it cleans your jugs out in seconds. But it also kind of conditions them as well, I've found. So I give it a quick spray, leave it in there for a couple of minutes, and then wipe it out with a baby wipe, then wipe it out with a piece of kitchen towel, and then put it away. Not letting your resin cure in your silicone jugs is going to extend the life of them considerably, and this cleans out beautifully. Also cleans your silicone mats as well. So the next one is an assortment of pigments, markers, and things like that. I use an awful lot of them. I love adding colours and things like that to my resin, and having good quality ones really makes a difference, and they're not that much more expensive, and they'll go a lot further as well. So I've got a few here that I use all the time. So these are the ones that I use virtually daily, and I've got them now. They're nice and easy to get hold of. But I've also got this area here, which that's got all my UV resins in. That's got all my glitters in. That's got all my alcohol inks and some of my micro glitters that I use all the time. And then there I've got all my mica powders. And I've also got a lot down there as well. More big wipes. And talking of mixers, this is the one I use every single day. I clean my paddles as soon as I've used them, as you've probably seen in my videos. It's got 2 different size paddles. You can mix up, brilliant if you're using a deep pour and you want to mix up 2 lots at the same time, or you're using 2 different resins and you want to mix up 2 at the same time. Absolutely brilliant. Mine's fully charged. I charged it over the weekend, only took a couple of hours to charge. So easy to use. This base is really quite heavy as well, so it doesn't flip over. You just pop that in there and decide on the speed that you want to go. What I've found is this really does take all the effort out of it. I just wish that it came with a little timer, but I bought one of these little cheap timers and I have that hanging on the side of my frame for recording. I found that to be so useful in so many different ways. So a great bit of kit, very reliable, and mixes resin brilliantly and saves all that hassle and arm ache as well. Now I can't live without this anymore. I've had loads of curing boxes and I've still got, I use my really large one, which is for tumblers, if I want to have a more open area and slower cure, but still speed it up. But this one is brilliant. You've got a reversible tray, so if you want things to be closer to the top and cure that little bit quicker, certain things like jewelry, shallow molds and that sort of thing, then you can do that. You can set this so easily. You can just turn it on and you can set it for 2 hours all the way up to 4 hours in half-hour increments, and you can also go down to 30 minutes. And you can set your temperature to as low as, and this can be set in Fahrenheit or centigrade. I prefer centigrade, but you have it on whatever you want. So you just click that and then you can turn it up to whatever level you want. And it is brilliant. I use this all the time now. I could not be without it. If I've got something deeper going on, my mat definitely needs a clean, then I'll pop that around that way and I can cure it up like this. It has taken hours off waiting for things to cure. And the great thing is it goes, once it's finished, on your time, it'll cool down as well and send out some unheated air that cools off your products so much quicker. You'll honestly thank yourself for having one of these. Now, I've spoken about the big wipes, and to be honest, I use them so often, and I wouldn't be without them in my crafting room, but now I wouldn't be without this either. This is a hand cleaner and it's designed specifically for epoxy resin and it's gentle on skin. This is my 3rd large bottle, and I've also got a little bottle as well, a little tube of it. It's great for skin, tools, molds, and anywhere epoxy resin needs to be cleaned. It needs to be in its uncured state. It won't clean off cured epoxy resin, but it's brilliant. Now, as you know, I'm very sensitive to resin, but if I do happen to get any on my skin, all I do straight away is put some of this on, and it's all liquidy like this when you're first using it. But actually, once you've got it cleaning and you're rubbing it around, it creates these little bits that pick off the resin. I've not got any resin or anything on my hands at the moment, but it gets that resin, takes it all off, and then you've completely cleared. Now, sometimes I've got my sleeves rolled up like this and I've leaned in resin and I've cleaned my resin off my skin straight away, and it is awesome. All you need to do once you've done that is wash your hands in some soap and water and then dry them, or I use a baby wipe like that. Then you've got your skin is lovely and clean, and you are not going to get problems with having resin on your skin. And it's really good, because the last thing you want to be doing is putting 99% alcohol on your skin, because your skin will absorb that and it's toxic. It's not good. So this is my penultimate one, or my second from last one, and the last one is really a free one, but I wouldn't be without it. So make sure you see what I love there. So this is my Resiners Airless Pro. If you're going to buy a vacuum chamber like this, then go for the Resiners Pro. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but the great thing about this is this goes to -99 and is consistent at -99 as well. So it's not like some of them where they go to 94, 95. This will get bubbles out of not only 4-hour demold, but it'll also help get bubbles out of silicone as well, because it goes to that -99. You can set it for 4 minutes, you can set it for 10 minutes, or you can set it for 15 minutes if you've got a deep pour in there. Its default setting is 5 minutes. I normally set it for 10 and then have a look at it and then stop it if I need to. And sometimes I do set it for 15 minutes as well if I've got a deep pour in here. The great thing about this one is, let's turn it off, because if not, you won't be able to hear me. The great thing about this one is if there's any spills or anything, and it does happen, sometimes things bubble over, it's not going into the works of the item, it's just going in here. You can also put in here 4 cups like this. It's normally got resin in, so it's much easier. So you can also get 4 of those in, and I've had 4 in there before, so you can degas a lot more resin. And it'll also take a larger one as well if you're degassing a lot of resin. It makes such a difference to your final finished piece as well. It gets rid of bubbles. I've shown it so many times in videos how clear it gets things. And I certainly wouldn't be without this. Now, I will link everything that I've used today in the description below if you want to get hold of it. And if I've got any discount codes, I'll also link those. My final one is absolutely costs me nothing. And I use these all the time. And I get my family to save me theirs as well. And that is empty yogurt pots or pudding pots. Some of these I've had a long time because I wipe them out using a big wipe, little sprayer, big wipe spray, and I get them really clean. I use these for mixing colours in, doing different techniques in them and pouring them. I just would not be without them. These are the corner yogurt pots that we get in the UK, and I use these quite often. I'll use one side for one colour and then the smaller bit here for perhaps something else that I'm mixing up. I absolutely love them. And it's nice to have things that are cheap as well, or free. I mean, obviously I have a lot of other tools around. I have scissors, I have hair dryers, I have long neck lighters galore, and you've seen all those. But these are my top 10 that I really couldn't live without. And individually, these tools are helpful. They really are helpful. But together, they have turned my studio from a messy, frustrating place into a space I love working in. If you're missing even a couple of these tools, then you need to be putting them on your Christmas list and saving for them, because they make resin work so much easier for you. They make resin work so much more successful, and they make resin work so much more fun as well, and safer. Now, there are other tools that I've got as well that I'm going to be showing in videos in the next year or so. But these are my 10 that I absolutely love, even though there's probably 12 or 13 in there that I've showed you. Let me know in the comments which ones you've got, or which ones you're looking and hoping to get for Christmas, birthdays, or for whatever celebration you're hoping to get these tools. I'd be really interested to know. Check out the video I've got coming up next. I think you'll love that one as well. It's a brilliant experiment. As you know, I love to experiment with resin. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your resin. Take care. Bye.